Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, welcome back to Two Bros with Benefits. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Jake. We're your co-hosts. This is episode 4. Gonna get into it. We got we've been kind of lucky lately with a lot of crazy stuff that's been going on in the world week to week. So
Yeah,
again, we got a lot of stuff to talk about and another awesome guest, someone that we've known for a long time. I mean, with that, maybe we should just kind of get into it. What do you
let's
think?
go.
Let's go. Hey, what up, guys? We're back. What's up, Kevin?
What's going on?
Not much. If you viewers and listeners out there, if you've noticed my atmosphere or my background has changed a little bit, I got kicked out to the hippie hut. Uh,
You see,
Iris was having trouble sleeping. I accidentally woke her up and got in a little bit of trouble, but it's all good now. But yeah, I'm
he
out
still
here
had to
now,
take
so
some time for his bros with benefits.
that's right. That's right. My wife said you better not cancel on them, so she's pretty cool like that. But I mean, honestly, this is probably I think, where we're going to end up setting up the studio anyway. So
Yeah,
you'll
eventually
get
we're
familiar
hoping to
with this
have
background.
both of us out there and two mics, maybe three mics from time to time, and just making that our podcast studio. So you're getting
Of
a glimpse of it
course,
now.
slowly but surely upgrading each episode, trying to improve our skills. Um,
So Jake and I wanted to announce the winner to last week's contest. Jake, do you want to take the lead on that?
yeah, so we had someone. We're filming. This is a Tuesday, and we didn't release our episode till Monday, and we had someone email us in correct answer. Somebody we know, of course. A lot of our listeners, I feel like, are close friends, which is great because it is
Yeah.
kind of fun to be a friend, listening in on the stuff that we talk about. It's just kind of cool format to hear all your friends discuss different topics. But yeah, the winner is Swadami Jazami, aka Adam James. He was our first guest on our podcast. Adam James, congratulations. You are a winner. The viewers and listeners out there that are just now tuning in, the question was from our previous episode with Reagan. And the question was, um, what was the stuffed animal that Aunt Jean gave to Paul and his brother Nick to comfort them as little babies? And the answer was polar bear. Polar bear. Ding, 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 ding. So yeah, he
Good
will
job,
win
Adam. You got
some.
some cool
Yeah, good job.
swag.
Some cool swag from Two Bros with Benefits, and we'll be reaching out to you to collect your information, even though we already have it, and we'll send that out to you. So if you are listening or viewing, stay tuned because at the end of this episode, we'll ask another question and we'll have another winner. And it's kind of been kind of fun, to keep people interested in our podcast. But yeah.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. So this week we bring, well, I guess we could say we bring back a special guest. We tried recording with this bro a few
I
weeks
hear a
back,
laugh.
and there were some technical difficulties that stopped us from being able to release that video. So uh, we had to come up with some new topics and some new ideas for this guy, and we did, and we finally were able to make it work again. But anyway, he's a great friend of both of ours. I've been friends with this individual for over 20 years. Went to school together. We actually live right down the street from each other now. So we get to see each other every morning when we go work out and get the gains because we're trying to be bigger and more swole than everybody else in the world. Um, so I've got that. Jake, did you want to say anything about the
Yeah,
guest?
and luckily I'm kind of coattailing off you, but luckily the world is so crazy that topics and trending stuff pops up every week, and so we've got some
Yes.
stuff to talk about. This guy grew up down the street from me. Um, we're old rowdy St. Ben's boys, the troublemakers, ones that are always getting in trouble. We could go into that sometime at some point in this podcast, but he's just
You
a
guys were
great human
always the
being.
troublemakers, man.
Oh yeah, but deep down, we're just and St. Ben's boys. They're great human beings at heart, and this guy is too. So I'll let you go ahead and
But
introduce him.
yeah, he goes by many names. A lot of people know him as Fern. Some people know him as well, I guess his rap name is Nasty No No. People
Let's keep it
know him
professional.
as Loggers, and people know him as Big Log. It's our boy Logan Maneely.
What's up, guys?
Hey! What's up,
What's
Logan?
happening, Bri?
Thanks for all the kind words.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
those all the kind ones we had about you, so don't expect us to say any more.
Well, now I'm
I
all
got some
blushed.
liquid courage, so it kind of brought that out.
My mountains are blue,
you-
baby.
Oh, the mountains are
Yeah,
blue.
buddy.
I'm drinking some yummy margaritas.
Mm.
They're pretty
That's
tart, though.
cute.
I mean, I wish I would have grabbed me some beer too. Can only have a few
Did you
of them, I
guys
feel like, but
know
I'm just
margaritas are near and dear to my heart because my birthday is on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, my mom actually went to Hacienda with my dad and some of their buddies. I was due at like the end of May. Dad and all of his friends got just hammered on. I think Hacienda had 50-cent margaritas back then
Yeah.
for the day, and they were all Slammer Bammer, Barack Obama drunk. And Mom was so pissed off that she had a wet burrito and induced later. So now she
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 did.
calls me her
That
burrito baby.
that wet burrito made the water. You know what I mean? Came splashing out.
Yeah, we'll get into more of those details on our OnlyFans page.
That's right. Welcome back, dude. Yeah, sorry last time. I was very disappointed in myself and us as two bros with benefits. We weren't
Hey,
we weren't
it's a learning
benefiting.
process, and I had a good time, and I'm happy to be
Yeah.
back.
Well, you're benefiting us by coming back, so we appreciate it.
Yes.
You're
Thank you for
benefiting
your
me. You
time.
just can't see below what's going on.
Again, OnlyFans.
Nice.
That's the other camera.
So Jake and I were talking before the podcast, and we were like, you know what? The story that we had Logan kind of share with us before was a great story. We'll just briefly share it with you. Long story short, Logan and Jake both met their now wives about probably within a couple weeks or a month of meeting them. They knew that they were going to be the ones they married, and both of them became engaged very, very quickly. So we talked about that, how that went for both of them, and how it's just different than what you
Very
hear in normal
non-traditional.
society.
Right.
Yeah, very
right.
non-traditional. So that was a great story, and I feel bad that we can't share that with you guys. But there was another thing that Logan talked about in the Spitfire questions that we had for him. And Jake, if you want to take that.
No, I mean, one of the Spitfire questions raised some really interesting stories, and I know it's going to be hard to recreate it, Logan, but I believe the question honestly was, do you believe in aliens? And somehow we got on the topic of ghosts or apparitions, and we started exchanging ghost stories, and you just had a really amazing stories about, what was it, your
Charlotte came
dad's old house, or was it the old house that you lived in?
Yeah, man.
And
Charlotte
we just
came out
kind of
of
wanted to get
out of the closet. Gave me a
Charlotte.
rundown,
She
man.
gave
My butt
you-
wet.
what shout out OJ.
That was the song.
What house was this? I can't remember.
Shout out Bragan.
It's my so we moved. Mom got remarried when I was in 5th grade, and my brother Chase and I moved over to the neighborhood, like Lincolnshire, in 6th grade. And my mom and my little brother Connor still lives there, and it's right down the street from your folks' house. And that house was haunted as shit.
Man, I like that area.
Yeah, I mean it's a spooky old house built in like 1900 something, maybe 1890 something. I can't remember. I've had a few wobbly pops.
It's old plantation area, yeah.
Yeah, so we started seeing, my brother Chase and I started seeing some real spooky shit. And you just like you walk into a room and you get real cold and you'd feel like your air gets sucked out of you, and you'd smell certain things that were going on in the house. Like I remember walking in the house and it smelled like somebody was baking like cinnamon rolls, and there wasn't shit going on. and little things would fly across the room. Like I remember watching a penny go, shoo! And it always happened when my brother Chase and I we were just a perfect amount of age apart where we fucking hated each other. So we constantly were poking on each other or whatever. Anytime we get after it and start having a little brother tussle, some real spooky shit would happen. And we noticed it more and more often, and we started getting a little freaked out. And started telling my friends at school, hey, I think my house is haunted. Everybody's like, you're full of shit. And one thing led to another, man, and it just kept happening. And I remember when my buddies were over, I was babysitting my baby brother, and they're like, "Oh, if there's a ghost here, you better do something. You're full of crap." And they're screaming and at this fake ghost that they think is in the house,
Right.
and the whole upstairs where my brother and I live starts shaking, and it sounded like a giant bookcase, just like boom, 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 boom. It slammed on the ground, and the 3 or 4 buddies that were with me about peed their pants and ran outside. And I grabbed my little brother and we ran outside. And I remember sitting on the porch for like an hour and a half until my mom came home because I was too scared to go back in the house.
Right. Oh,
And
yeah.
we went up in the room, and there was nothing, like physically nothing was knocked over. So it was real spooky. And then my mom started seeing shit going on. And so she started getting a little, suspicious of things happening. My grandmother had recently passed away, and this was like the pinnacle of the spookiness. So grandma died like a couple weeks before, maybe a month before, and it was at the same time we were in health class in 8th grade, and they gave us these stupid little dolls. It was screaming
Oh,
cry
yeah.
all night long. You had to
You
stick
got
a credit
you got to
card in
take
its
care of them.
butt. Yeah,
Right.
to make it quit crying.
Mhm.
And I failed miserably, but I was trying. But anyway, I'm 12, 13 years old and sleep deprived. So I'm already a little wonky, and I feel my bed collapse, like somebody sits on the side of my bed, and it woke me up because I shifted. And it's dark in my room, and I just see a silhouette of a person. And my brother's kind of emotional, or at least he was back then. So I'm like, Chase, I know grandma passed away, but I can't do nothing for you. Get the fuck back off my bed. Because big brother being a turd. And didn't move. I was like, Chase, come on, man. It's late. Time to go. Didn't move. And so I tried to kick it because it's my brother's too. So I
Right.
throw my right foot, and it just went right through the silhouette. And then you see this outline of a shadow of like a head just like turn itself and look. And at this point, I'm starting to wig a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I look over at my brother. I like roll over and look behind me, and there's like this mist, this foggy mist, like above him. And Chase was a snorer back then. I don't know if he still is, but he's snoring, and all of a sudden his blankets start moving. And real cold in our room, and there's this like spooky mist, and his blanket just goes. And he woke up and wigged out. He's like, "Oh!" And looked over and saw me and saw I was scared. And I don't think he touched the ground, but he jumped down the stairs. I ran down the stairs, and then my brother and I slept in our living room for like 6 months.
So
and
he woke up and saw your terrified look. And
he woke up thinking, "What the
freak
hell
out.
is Logan doing to me?"
Right.
And then he saw
Yeah.
me about to piss my pants, and I think he actually did shit himself. And he pooped all the way down the steps. And mom got her sisters and her gal pals together and kicked me and Chase out. We went and spent the night at somebody's house, and we didn't know she was doing it. And they hired this seance lady,
Yeah.
50-50 seance lady, and they came over and they did a seance in our room. And
that
this
is
is
so cool.
this is pre-internet. I mean, this is maybe instant messenger era, so Facebook's not a thing. And this lady who has no connection to our family whatsoever is just telling my mom and my aunts like all these really intimate things about Chase and I, like that no one would ever know unless they lived in the house. Like only my
Yeah.
mom would know these things.
Right.
And so she's telling mom about my brother and I and how we fight all the time. And mom's like, okay, yeah, this is freaking me the fuck out. So Mom asked the seance lady to, kind of like speak for the ghost, and the ghost was like, "Yeah, my name's Charlotte, and I used to live here. I had these little boys, and they both died from Spanish flu.
Oh
And
shit.
now I see these two boys, and I want to help with them, and they fight all the time. So I try to get them to stop fighting, which is why we would always see spooky shit happen when we were picking on each other. And the ghost was like, the house always I would try to make the house smell like, because you don't bake enough treats for the boys. They deserve treats. They're good boys and shit. And now my mom's like, wait, now.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
they did their spooky seance thing. I wish I was there, but I wasn't.
Right.
And
Fly on the wall.
asked her to leave, and she left. And then no more spooky shit ever happened.
Really?
But
That's
my
so
house was
crazy.
definitely haunted from like 6th grade to 8th grade.
So that's why this it smelled like cinnamon, because she was baking for y'all, and she was a regulator. She was like trying to get you guys.
Yeah, trying to get us
That-
secure.
And man, that's like the third or fourth time I've heard you tell that story, and I get chills every
I
time.
know.
It's
I
pretty
got
freaking
chills
crazy.
whenever you were saying it earlier. That's wild.
It was crazy. And I'll meet people now and get to talking about it when they bring shit up like this, and they're like, "No way that
Yeah.
that happened." But
Right.
Chase
See,
will
and
corroborate for me, and all my buddies from middle school that were there when that shit happened when we thought the cabinet fell. They're like, "Yeah, dude." They wouldn't come to my house anymore. Like finally, when they started coming over, they always bring a Ouija board, and the Ouija board would go fucking bonkers.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and you always think some little kids like she,
Pushing it.
but we wouldn't even fucking touch the Ouija board, and it would move. Like, are you afraid of the dark? It was nuts.
that is crazy. Like
Nice
I've
reference.
never, knock on wood, never experienced anything like that. So I'm one of the skeptical ones, just because I've
Yeah,
never
I'm
actually
curious.
experienced. But I know Jake has, and because I know my wife has. And Jake, if you want to talk about your situations ever, I mean that stuff's crazy to
I mean,
me
I can know
too.
some stuff, but I'm curious. I am curious to see like what our viewers and listeners think about if they believe in, the afterlife as far as ghosts are concerned. Please let us know. Comment in the comment section. Email us at twobroswithbenefits@gmail.com. But yeah, I mean, so house that we moved in there whenever I was 4. So Jess was a baby, so that's all she's ever known. And our house was a land grant. On the deed actually has Andrew Jackson's signature, and that was like 1830s, 1834. The house was built in the 1870s, and it's really old, and it was a hospice at one point. And then the owners before us, the woman's son, he unalived himself out in our garage. And so, I mean, there's just a lot of history to it. And so through the years, a lot of crazy stuff has happened. And, I will say that it seems like whatever ghosts that we've ever had, they were never like mean. I would say yours were probably never mean or threatening either, just kind of scary. Stuff would go
No, it was
missing all
just
the
it was out
time.
of out of this world. It just freaked you out. But I never felt any
Yeah.
malicious energy.
Yeah. But I'll just tell one story, and this kind of just encompasses everything that we went through as children with, stuff going missing, crazy stuff happening whenever we're asleep, voices and cabinet doors opening and stuff. Like I said, mainly it was stuff that would go missing and then, just show up randomly, like right in front of our eyes. But whenever I was I was a senior in high school. I was 18 years old, and I got off early. I can't remember why we got off a half day. It was a half day, and I came home, and clearly nobody was home. But I knew Jess. She was at St. Ben's at the time, and she was getting half day as well. And so I got home, and I was like getting ready for wrestling practice and stuff. And I was walking around the house, and I hear Jacob, and it sounded just like my sister's voice. And I was like, Jess, I'm home. Where are you? Blah blah blah. And didn't hear anything else. So I just kept going. Then I hear Jacob again, same voice. And so this time I like did some investigating. I like went up. There's nobody on the main floor. I go up on our second floor, and I'm looking in all the rooms. Nobody. Blah 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 blah. And that's whenever I started like, man, that is kind of weird and eerie. And so I was like coming down the stairs, and I was like, already kind of creeped out at that point, and I was standing in between, like, you know, where our front door is. We have where our living room is and our kitchen is. I can see, like, in the kitchen, I can see the living room, I can see the stairs going up to our second floor, and I'm just standing there kind of already freaked out. And I'm just standing there listening, and I hear, Jacob, footsteps across, you know, the catwalk of our top stairs. And I was right by the door. The door, swiftly ran outside, and I sat on the curb. And yeah, this was, I mean, well, I think we had cell phones back then. I think I had a cell phone. I might
We
have tried
did.
to call my
I
mom.
know I
She might
did,
not have
like,
answered,
junior
but
year,
I
yeah.
sat on the curb until she came home. I was late for practice that day, but I was just like, Mom, you don't know what the heck just happened. And yeah, I mean, I've kind of been scared of that house since the moment we moved in. I'll tell this one other story. This probably planted the seed. There's just my wife. And then definitely planted the seed, and I always kept it in the back of my mind, you're crazy, Jake, you're crazy, Jake. But then one time on our way home from Indianapolis with my sister Devin, they were all talking about how our house was haunted and all the crazy stories that they've had. And but I was asleep, but I was listening, and I was too young to be hearing it. And so it kind of definitely terrified me. But from the moment we moved in, when we moved in, this house was it's huge, it's old, it's scary. The basement, it gets pitch black. There's no windows downstairs. And so whenever we first moved in, and even after we moved in, we used to play hide and go seek down there all the time. So if you just close the doors and you turn the lights off, you can't even see the hand in front of your face. And so we had just moved in, and all of our stuff, all of our boxes and all of Jessica's baby stuff was down there. And she had this big pink rectangular foam thing that they used to layer on. And my brother was it. And this was probably like 3 people in being it. And he was it. We were all hiding, and I went and I hid in towards the back of the old smoke room that we used to have where the furnace is and
Yeah.
stuff. That's where it gets kind of
Mhm.
creepy. And I was hiding back there, and I was peering over the top of this foam. And so I was standing on something because at that point I wasn't really tall enough to just stand up and look. And my brother comes in, and he's like, "Oh, Ollie Oxenfree, here I come." And he shuts the door, and it gets pitch black. And right at that moment, something reached up, grabbed my leg, and pulled me straight down. And I freaked out and just started screaming. And, it was like, time out, time out. Ran up, and everyone swears it wasn't them. I mean, who knows? I guess it could have been my sisters or something, but I know nobody hid near me. But that kind of planted the seed for, like, I'm terrified of this house. So from then on, I never went downstairs by myself until I became an adult. Now, I did start suffering from sleep paralysis in that house, and that was a different story. Those were like demons coming at me, but later we found out that was like an actual condition. Have you ever heard of sleep paralysis?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because now that I see pictures of it on Instagram all the time, and they'll show like a picture of a demon, and they're like, this is what sleep paralysis feels like. And it is. And now that I know that I have it, it's not as scary, but the first like 3 or 4 times it was like that, like a demon. So basically what sleep paralysis is you wake up, but you're paralyzed. You can't move. So you're totally conscious and you can't move. And it feels like someone's pinning you down. Not just that you can't move. Someone is like literally sitting on top of you, pinning you down, and you feel like this force, like you feel like these demons coming at you. And the first time I actually experienced it, I was in my 20s, and Erdman was sleeping over, and he was laying on the floor next to me, but we were in the basement. And I was like trying to call out for him, and I couldn't. And I was like trying to reach for him and stuff. It was the scariest thing one of the scariest things I've ever been through. And I mean, like, I'm looking over and I can see Mike, and he just passed out, and I'm like trying to call for him, and I couldn't. And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, get up, but nothing ever happens. Now, now when it happens, I'm just like, oh, I'm having sleep paralysis. Go back to bed, Jake. And I just go back to bed, and I wake up and I'm fine. But it is kind of scary. And we can
Yeah,
edit that
for
out
sure.
if it's not very good.
No,
no,
it's all good.
this
That's
shit,
crazy.
this shit's real
I think,
scary.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, if you've ever experienced it, like, let us know, because
Oh yeah, I've had it
I guess
before.
that
I
is
had it at the Spooky Haunted House, and The first 2 times it happened, I thought it was a ghost fucking with me. Then I started learning what sleep paralysis is or whatever, and I studied philosophy in college, and I got into some really weird shit. I don't know. I fell down a weed rabbit hole for about 5
Little rabbit
years,
hole.
and
Yeah.
I learned how to, I forget what it's called, but you can control your dreams. And once I could start
Oh yeah,
doing
lucid
that,
dreaming.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. I learned how to lucid dream, and once I started lucid dreaming, and that shit went away. It hasn't happened
Yeah.
since I was in my early 20s, but it's spooky for
Yeah.
sure.
I've watched methods on how to do it. So our buddy Josh Kern is really good at doing it. I every time I realize that I'm dreaming in my dream and I start becoming lucid and I'm like, oh, I'm in my dream, I can do anything. I generally wake up. Well, it's probably only a split second in my dream. You know, your dreams, they say, don't last that long, but in the dream, I'm probably good for like 10 minutes. I can do whatever I want. And then I end up waking up. But Josh, he's really good at like staying in his dream and he can do whatever he wants. Like, oh, I fly, like, or let's
Mm-hmm.
go to, China. Let's go. Um, but yeah, that is really cool. And I've seen, methods on the internet on how to try to induce that, which is
Yeah,
wild.
I learned how to do it
That is
taking
wild.
metaphysics, and my dreams now always turn into like some kind of video. For some reason, they always end up with zombies. And I had some really fucked up zombie dreams, and some of them when I was younger, like the only way to kill a zombie was to bang it. So like they got real wild for a minute there,
Without getting bit.
dude.
I've had
My
those where they're
dad.
trying to bite you and you're like holding their face back and they're like coming in closer.
Oh yeah, dude. I had this one weird dream where my dad had been dead for like 20 years, and for some reason I'm in this zombie apocalypse, and I'm with my dad, who's been dead forever, and uh, I've got this VHS tape of me playing basketball in like 3rd grade, and I put it in the VCR, and I turn it on, and the TV's turned up too loud, and then Dad's like, "Turn this shit off! They're coming!" And then all of a sudden they come, and it's these 2 fucking babe zombies, and they come in the house, but they're like coherent
Babe
because
zombies?
they're babes, but they're
He
like some
said
kind of
babes. Yeah.
yeah, they're like some kind of witch zombie, so they have all their cognition. And the only way for
Yeah.
Dad and I not to die was we had to double team this zombie witch, and I woke up after
Eiffel
that.
Tower 'em.
That was the weirdest dream I've ever had.
That's funny. Maybe
That's
they're trying to.
wild.
Maybe they were sirens. They were sirens that were trying to seduce you. Well, that's funny that we're talking about dreams. So I want to ask you this. Now that we're on the topic, we have a lot of AI topics and stuff like that. But I saw a video on Elon Musk, and he was talking about how I didn't watch the whole video. I should. I even was telling Kevin about this because we could make this one of our topics at some point. But we were talking about simulation, like our life is a simulation. He was talking about how one proof that he thinks that we're living in a simulation is that nobody ever dreams about technology. Like, have you ever dreamed that you're on your phone or watching TV or on your computer? I've never dreamed that. And Kevin corroborated and he
Yeah, I
said
can't
he
remember.
concurs.
Yeah.
Can you ever remember looking
No,
at your phone or looking? Isn't that weird?
no, yeah, I
I guess,
definitely haven't. That's spooky.
yeah. And the reason why he was saying that was that our conscious can't conceive that because it's like, I don't know, out of the realm of, I don't know, the simulation, but it would go against everything. But that's kind of crazy. And so I guess my next question, I was going to tell you, you were talking about your dreams, and have you guys seen how in Japan there's some scientists in Japan that are now able to record your dreams and you can play them back to yourselves? Have you guys seen that?
What?
Oh, that's
Yes.
No, I
crazy.
haven't. That's crazy.
I mean, and this is an old article that I was watching and reading. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine? I mean, what would that be like? Because again, they say that your dreams only really last like 10 seconds, but they're like 3 hours. So would it be 3 hours of footage? And like, what are you seeing? I mean, think about how unrealistic when you wake up your dreams really are. You're like, okay, we were this place, but it wasn't this place. It was, you know,
Yeah.
this was the person that was in my dream, but it didn't look like that person. You know, like it'd be cool to be able to see what they look
Yeah, that
like,
happens a lot.
because they say that you can only put together in your dreams stuff that you've seen. You can't just make up stuff. So would it be just like a mesh of different faces, and it was, you know, and that was my wife Beth, but she looked nothing like my wife Beth. You know, it'd
She
be
looked like
My
the
really
shit
zombie
would
weird.
look
Logan
like
was
a
talking
Tool
about.
video, man. It'd be a
Yeah,
bunch
it
of
would be like,
creepy,
yes,
weird shit.
yes. It would definitely be like a Tool video. Yeah, and if you guys have never watched any Tool music videos, do yourself a favor and turn off the lights, turn the TV on, YouTube some Tool videos, listen to some good music, and just watch how weird and creepy they are. But that is interesting. I mean, it would be fun to really play back your dreams. I mean, imagine, Logan, your zombie double team dad dream. I mean, it'd be like you get to
You'd
see
be
your
able to
dad
use that as your
again.
porn
I
on
put
your
that. I
Pornhub,
put that
bro.
bitch right
Watch.
on Pornhub, dude.
I know, right?
Hell
You put,
yeah.
you upload it right to OnlyFans or Pornhub. I mean,
I'm
Just think
trying
how
to
many
get
what we're
paid
doing,
movies.
from it.
right?
Yeah, think how many movies could be made from that. You know, like all
Yep.
your dreams, just have a movie made.
They would be
Crazy.
so weird, just
Yeah.
off the wall outrageous. But anyways, I mean, I thought that was kind of a good question. I mean, that is something that is able to be done. I would love to recall one of my dreams. So yeah, with that,
For
we
sure.
will get into our next segment. We'll take a little break and we'll come right back. See you guys. Bye.
I
Cool.
kind of want to shotgun a beer. You want to do it on
Do it.
camera?
Yeah, why not?
I
Jake
gotta
might
go
do
get
a
some
Marg
keys.
with you.
Yes. Please do have him
Hey,
shotgun a beer. That'd be
he
awesome.
wants you to do it with him.
Oh,
Shotgun a
all I
Marg
have is
with him, bro.
margaritas. Fuck.
Well, these are 16s. Don't be a baby back bitch about it.
All right, let me get something to poke a hole.
Man,
Let me take
man,
this
to be
Zen out.
living the dream with you fellas, drinking some brewskis.
Every goddamn day, Bone.
Yeah, even with Paul, before we even started recording, there was like a lot of stuff that we were saying, talking about that was really good for like good content.
I'm
I was
sure
like,
it
wow.
wasn't Paul talking about it, but
Right.
No, we've gotten some feedback on his. It was funny. Nick was over here the other night, and he was like, "You guys were giving Paul a little bit more credit than he probably deserves." I was like,
you got to
"Well, yeah,
gaslight him.
yeah." I was like, "Well, Jake probably was more than me."
So wait, we are recording. We can use this for our intermission if you want, or we
Yeah,
can
for
do it
sure.
as
Like a
we can do
commercial.
it as our commercial.
Hey guys, I'm gonna sit here and watch these two shotgun a beer. We're back, guys, and Logan and Jake are gonna do a little shotgun for us. So be prepared. It's gonna be very exciting.
Let me get mine prepped.
No
I'm doing a
time to waste,
margarita.
As you can see across Logan's tatted chest, it says "Sorry for partying." He's not sorry at all.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Wait, I
Here
think
it
I'm
comes.
ready.
Nice.
Did he already
This is
go?
gonna be great content. Oh yeah. You got to do another
Yes,
one,
I'm
Logan.
No, I'll explode. You need like 3 minutes.
Logan is pretty much Jake. That was quick.
I don't mess around.
Logan is probably the fastest I know at shotgun and beers, but Jake, that was pretty damn quick.
Well, thank you.
I took my sweet ass time that time, but I don't ever do it sitting down. So,
Sugar
But
straight to
Jake-
the brain.
Jake, you are an inspiration to all of us. When
I'm
I
pretty
wake
good
up in the morning
sugar.
and I want to just imagine my life as the fucking alpha and the studliest motherfucker on the block, I think of you, and I try to be second place every.
This is true.
I appreciate it. That's the ultimate compliment. It's
You
You're
are
definitely
just so
lying.
fucking hot, dude.
You're lying out your mouth, but
No, I'm not. If I had a
He
pussy, you would be the first one to fuck it. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'm a married man, but I might make an exception.
Me too.
And this is the benefits you hear in our name.
This is the benefits. We could convince Beth, I'm sure.
Don't ask,
She would
don't
know.
tell.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, welcome back, guys. I mean, that's a good way to kind of start the second segment of this. I think that we hit it off with a bang with a shotgun anyways. I mean, that first segment was really interesting. I think we'll get a lot of good feedback I think that we were talking to Adam whenever we announced that he was the winner, and to him, and he was talking about how the last podcast he was watching, he just wanted to chime in so much, but he can't as he was listening. And I'm interested to see what people would want to chime in or say for that first segment, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
with
please
that,
send us your feedback and your comments. We love hearing it all, and we want to, we'll share it on our podcast as we come along. But we definitely want to hear your guys' feedback.
We'll give you a shout out. We'll if you have something interesting to say about one of the topics, we'll definitely bring it back up. If you have topics,
and if you don't have anything interesting to say, we'll still bring it up and make you look like an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, comment and email at your own risk, because we aren't scared to call you out. Make you look really, really smart.
I'm sorry,
really,
I can't
really
stop looking at Logan. Can't stop looking at Logan flexing his sorry for party and tat in the background. That's pretty fucking sexy.
Over here bouncing my titties and not listening to a damn word you're saying.
I love it.
Checking myself out.
I love how just that's in the shot. You know what I mean? It's just perfect.
Yeah.
I think you did that on purpose.
Great. He cut his tongue, and we got that on film. All right, guys. With that, I think we're going to get into our next segment. It's one of our most popular featured segments. And I know, Kevin, you got a playlist for us, so hit us up.
Hey, man. I've been thinking a lot lately. What you thinking about?
Hey! You know what time it is? That means it's time for Hot Topics and Hot Takes. So the way this segment works, Logan, I know you're familiar with it because you've been on this before when we ultimately failed. We're going to actually give you 3 topics that are hot topics or hot takes, and we will discuss those, and we kind of come up with silly little puns or silly titles to disguise them, and we'll ask you the 3. So before you tell us which one you want to discuss first, just let me say all 3. The first one we have is I ain't doing my homework. The second one is the crowd strikes the world. And the third one is youth in Asia, not to be confused with euthanasia.
Youth with a Y, not a U.
Youth,
you got that right,
with a Y, and Asia as the continent.
Let's start with that one because it's a very clever pun.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you want to start with youth in Asia. Okay, so I think with this one, we will just go ahead and start with, we have 2 clips that we want to show. Start with the Asian culture from Japan.
Okay. Beautiful music.
He was letting an old man sit, and then he was letting a pregnant woman sit.
Parents don't escort their kids to school, and once they reach the school, they are taught how not to be spoiled by serving their own food, doing their dishes, cleaning their mess. What's crazy about it is that it's so effective that in many Japanese schools there are no janitors. No janitors because the children are the janitors. Remember how I showed you kids being janitors? Well, in one World Cup, the Japanese audience literally cleaned after the game. What you're looking at now is an amazing example of good manners taught from young age. Impressive good manners in a huge country. After all, Japan's population is 126 million people, and yet it's considered one of the most disciplined, organized, and cleanest countries. They also have one of the lowest crime rates in the world. And all of this is a proof that no one is born rude or aggressive. Most often, bad behavior is being taught at the level of home, at the level of school, and even at the level of the whole country. And so, as we look at these children being so nice, as we look at these adults living in unity, acting so politely, I hope you can help me share this video to send an important message that if we want our children to grow into selfless, loving, kind, and responsible people that we can be proud of, it all starts with us.
Hey, and then there's another video that Kevin's going to show. I've seen different takes on this video. I saw one, it was, it went one way, more like responsibility, and then this one kind of goes into like a little bit hardcore, but we're going to play it for you anyways, and then we'll discuss. And this is Asian culture in China.
What if I told you kindergarten in China was built different? Getting sturdy at recess with the footwork of an undrafted white slot receiver. Hard over height. Whether it's rings, vault, or the floor routine, it won't just be Simone Biles with the yips. It'll be the whole damn field. To these young bucks, American Ninja Warriors, simply a layup line. These boys smoked the double dutch and stepped it up to a triple. The form is impeccable. Not to mention a Michelin star lunch with a fully functioning kitchen staff. Ain't no Lunchables in the Far East. Stupid. While Americans run Minecraft, these youngsters link and build in meaningful ways. Somebody send this shit to Architectural Digest immediately. Developing an army of 3'6" Kyrie Irvings with the fundamentals of Yao Ming is diabolical. Get you a baby that can do both, y'all. Enough skills in the wok to cool off Hell's Kitchen. Mastering strategy games in dead silence. While we body Goodnight Moon, for 5-year-olds in China, the art of war is required reading. These ultimate craftsmen could put Etsy out of business in the first period alone. Hula hooping on these hoes with the precision of a Cirque du Soleil veteran. They're in the game. These 5-year-olds going on 50 not only have the power nap down to a science, but stay making the ropes course their bitch. If you didn't know kindergarten in China was Montessori on crack, throw me a follow. And if not, it's just despicable.
Okay, so what you saw there was Asian culture in 2 different countries at a young age, and it was kindergarten. It was young elementary school. So one of the questions I had for you, Logan, is do you think that what you saw here is something that us as Americans should implement in our early school years, giving a sense of like responsibility and fitness?
I mean, yeah, sure. I think children at that age are still developing so many things. I don't really know if at kindergarten you should be shit, man. I'm not an educator, and I've never really
Right.
studied this, but at 4, 5, and 6 years old, like you're just learning how to socialize and be a good human. So
True.
you once you're 7, 8, 9 years old, you can learn your fucking colors and count to 10 or addition, subtraction,
Yeah.
whatever you do at that age. I don't know. I haven't been there in a long time.
And that kind of goes along with the Japanese video that we saw. They're just teaching responsibility and stuff.
I think it's
Chinese
I think it's great. I think
one was a little
from
more
experience,
extreme.
my kids are freaking spoiled.
Yeah,
I think they're
same
spoiled,
here.
and I'm sure my parents would say that we were spoiled.
Yeah.
And I feel like we might be doing them a disservice because 15 years from now they're going to be adults and they're going to have to do this shit on their own, and it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be harder for them or not. I don't know if the rest
It's
of the
almost
world
like
is going to just move, accept the pace that they're at or not. So it's
right.
crazy.
It's almost like we're getting a little lazier and
Yeah, I think
What'd you
that
say? I'm sorry.
Chinese video was silly, but the Japanese video for sure. Those kids are out there getting it, and manners is a thing, and taking responsibility and cleaning up after yourself it's great. And those kids are disciplined, and
Yeah, I
I'm
saw
a
something
little jealous.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I saw something that said like the first few years in like the Japanese culture of, like school that's all they're teaching them. They're not even, necessarily worried. I mean, I'm sure they are teaching them the basics, numbers, ABCs, words and stuff, but it seemed like from what I saw in the article that I was reading, they really concentrate on manners and politeness and on how to be a good human. And I think that's something that maybe we could
Yeah,
all learn
I
from,
think
or we could implement more.
using the term Asian culture Asia's fucking massive, so that's redonkulous. But the
True.
Japanese,
Right.
in particular,
Yeah, they're
are
perfectionists
so
almost,
are
like
so respectful and so disciplined. It's like, and and I've watched some videos. My wife's really into natural health and functional medicine, and we've watched some documentaries about people living into their hundreds. And like the we watched this documentary, it had like the 10 biggest regions in the world with the most people that were 100 years old or plus, and like half of them
yeah,
were in Japan because they're
yeah,
taught from such a young age to respect their elders, and their elders are such a part of their family. Like they could, once you get into your elder years, like you continue to have a purpose and function family unit, and they're just happy. And so
yeah,
I think that whatever aspect they have in that culture, and I think it starts with these little kids with respect and um, their discipline or whatever. It's obviously a good thing. Like, who doesn't want to live to be 100 if you're healthy? So
exactly. Yeah, not to be libelous,
Yeah.
but I watched that too, and I think that at one point the oldest man and the oldest woman, they are like from the same town,
yeah,
which is kind
Another
of incredible.
point on top of all of that too is like you got to think about, and I know you guys all realize this too, but the food that we have here in America
Yeah,
is full of shit, and
yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah, it's
you're
poison.
not gonna have that there. So that's
yeah,
another reason why their culture lives longer. Because they're eating
Yeah,
better.
they eat real
It's
right.
in their
food.
every
Yeah, I saw a
yeah.
video of like they showed like different food products there and here, like it was like ketchup. It showed like the nutritional value on the back of their ketchup, and it showed the nutritional value on the back of our ketchup. And ours had like tons of sugar in it, and they had like minimal sugar, and I mean it was just a whole bunch of different products that they went through, and it was just like we're getting all like you know we're sacrificing health for taste and bad nutritional value.
I mean, Japanese
And
food is pretty damn good, man.
and Logan is right. Asia is a continent. It's huge. I mean, India is in Asia. I mean, technically, Russia is part of Asia. So it is more those, uh, you know, Japan, that area, China. They're,
I just fucking
they're
love
really
anime, so that's what it is, dude.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I'll try to keep us on task, but so I was thinking about this, and if you look at, have you guys ever seen like the old PE videos from like the 1950s and 60s where like everyone's fit and like physical fitness was like a core subject?
I feel like what's great, you can look at like pictures from the 70s of like people on the beach chilling, and you'll see like 500 strangers on the beach hanging out, and there's zero fat people.
Yeah.
And it's because the culture was different, and the food we ate was real food. And I think that our diet was 100% of the reason for that. I mean, if you take a picture of the beach now and I'm on it, you see the stubbiest motherfucker on the block, but I'm also 300 pounds. So it's like I'm as big as three of those people from the 70s. So you take what you can get, but
Right,
things definitely have changed over the last 50 years for sure.
for sure.
It's kind of crazy that, like you said, Logan, like the food that we have, where did all of that etiquette get lost? Like not just the food, just like the manners, all of that stuff. Where did that get lost? Was it in the 60s, probably 70s? Like where did it go? Because we
I
don't
think
have
No,
that.
there's,
We don't learn that stuff.
I think it's the 80s, because by the 1980s, the dynamic of the family had shifted from
Yeah.
the father working a full-time job and the mother running the home,
yeah,
because the economy took a gigantic dump after the Cold War and mothers had to work full-time. You don't have that strict supervision over your children in the formative years from zero to whenever. And it's like, well, shit, my kid's not a total piece of shit, and he gets decent grades, and he'll figure it out. And I think that's when things kind of started to shift, because in the 60s and even in the 70s with the baby boomers or whatever, the economy was rocking. And I think that's when the whole shift chart started. So maybe, we're probably at the ass end of the beginning, being like
Yeah.
older millennials, but like late 70s, early 80s, I think, is when the whole family dynamic took a gigantic shift.
I
It's funny
completely
you
agree
say
with
that.
that.
Yeah, it's Jake. I don't know if you remember this, but a few weeks back, I was texting you about that. Like, how we kind of grew up. At least I did. You guys, your situation's different because Logan, your mom was single. I mean, she did work, and Jake, your mom also worked, and so did my mom. But like, I feel like it's crazy how like our moms would come home, they cook, they clean, they do all of this stuff. Again, I'm just speaking for my own mom. Like she would do all this stuff and never complain, like never, and it was always just like it was. I want to say expected of her, and it's different now. And I'm not saying it's bad now. I'm just saying it is a different dynamic completely. Like all of us share
It's not
in the
that
chores that are
traditional
done.
household.
Yeah,
Well, and I mean, we're all married, and if I feel like if we had those same expectations for our wives to kind of run the house and
we
and
wouldn't be.
also have a full-time job and to maintain the kids and to keep a smile on their face, we'd all be
Right.
murdered in our
Yeah,
sleep, or Lorena Bobbitt it
Of
at least,
course.
exactly.
Of
because it's
course.
it's
And it was
Yeah.
just
unfair.
No, I
It's an
expected
agree.
unfair
then.
expectation.
Right. Right.
It is.
And you're right. Like I agree with you with around the 80s, because I mean, think about like even 70s dads, like, you're sitting at your table, and I mean, my dad he was a 70s dad basically. I was just born a little bit later, but it's like you eat what's on the table. If you don't like
Hmm.
it, then you ain't eating. And now it's just a totally different culture where it's the parents now are more to cater to their children. Or I mean, even,
Well,
I feel
Jake,
like
your kid's little. You still have a baby,
I know,
but
but
I was raised with you eat what's on the table. But now I have a
yeah,
Yeah, same here.
child that's 4 that fucking hates everything, and it's just like I don't have the
you're just happy to get them to eat.
bandwidth and the fucking mental health to get him to eat what he should be eating. And my wife is in the same boat, and it's like if we can get him to eat some of what he should be eating, it's a win, because it's just like
You're right.
Yeah,
it's a fight that you have to pick your battles or you'll go nuts. And it's at the
True.
bottom of my priority list. Like he's eating his nutrients, he's gonna grow like he's supposed to grow. And it's like if he fucking is 30
Right.
years old and won't eat a piece of broccoli, then I guess I tried as best as I fucking could. But
You're
you're gonna
right.
have these fights in like 3 years.
I kind of don't have a
yeah,
say in the fight. You're right, because my baby's so young. But like, yeah, I mean, I was thinking in my mind. I mean, you kind of convinced me a little bit to swing over a little bit towards you, because I was thinking how we kind of are like the last generation to be raised kind of rough, where we were like, we were spanked and
yeah,
We
swatted and
played outside.
threatened. We
yeah.
played
You
outside,
know,
drank from the hose.
you know
We'd
how
come back in.
yeah, the barometer I use is like when you were growing up and you wanted to go hang out with your friends, what did you do to go find them? Because I grabbed my
Uh,
Huffy and I rode down the street until I
Yeah,
found the fucking front
right,
yard with the bikes in it,
right.
and then I went and played with those
Yep,
kids.
and you dropped it. I mean, that's just your stereotypical all American, and we all grew up with that, and I love
No,
that. But
and
I was talking to my mom. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I can't imagine. I have a 10-year-old. She's almost 11, and I cannot imagine letting her get on her bike and just ride until she finds something to do, and then come home when the streetlights come on. I'd be
Right,
calling the
you'd be
fucking
scared
FBI,
shitless.
dude, because
right.
Yeah,
Well,
society sucks now. You just can't do it. I don't trust
well. That's
anybody.
that's so Logan. I mean, I completely agree. I was just talking to my mom a couple days ago about this, and it's crazy because I was telling her how I have this young child that's a girl, and I just want to be protective of her, but I don't want to like umbrella her. But it's not like how society used to be, how we could, you know, take off, ride our bikes, disappear, not come back till, you know, the streetlights came on. But then I was kind of thinking about it, and then I kind of rebutted my statement. And I said, well, honestly, though, I think that a part of that was because when we were growing up, there was no social media, and so all this bad stuff wasn't
Yeah.
right up in our faces. But I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the serial killers were in the late 70s, early 80s and stuff, and all that stuff was still going on. We just didn't know about it as much. But now, since social media has brought that so much to light, it's kind of changed how society is. And yeah, we aren't the type of parents to be like, all right, yeah, you can go ride your bike down the street and just take off, you know. It's like, no. And my mom was even saying how like sleepovers, you know, are kind of fading. It's not really even a thing. Parents aren't even really wanting their kids stay over at people's houses. And I mean, I get it.
My daughter doesn't. Like, she would, obviously, like, if you guys had kids Aubrey's age and they were buds, they could stay at your house no problem because I've known you guys forever and I love you like brothers. But
Right.
Aubrey's got 2 or 3 girlfriends at her house in her school, and she's always listening. I want to sleep over. I want to sleep over. But I mean, it's fun. And we've had a couple at our house, but Haley won't even handle it. Like, if Aubrey brings it up, she's just like, shut up. And it's one of the only things
Yeah.
Haley will just like shut down before I even get started. We're
Well,
not
and
going to have
even
this
like,
conversation.
yeah, even
I
like
know all this.
babysitting. You know, she's at the age
Oh,
where
yeah.
she you know, like most girls would be babysitting in our era, and it's kind of scary now to like even let your daughter go and babysit. I mean, obviously, we're gonna ask you at one point if she wants to babysit, but like, you know, to go to a stranger's house somebody you don't know or don't trust, that's
Just because
really
he's your
scary,
neighbor,
almost
your mom
creepy
and
now.
dad knows
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
No, we've been grooming Aubrey. When we had a pool at the old house, and I taught her how to bartend at like 6 because we'd be floating in the pool, and somebody would be like, "Hey, Aubrey, can I have a beer?" And she'd come have a beer, and she'd float it out to him, and then I'd be like, "You have to give her $1," and she earned it. So she loves money, and she is so excited to babysit everybody's kids. She's like, Daddy,
She's so good with kids too. She was so
in like
great
2
with ours.
years, when I'm 13 and I have my certifications, 'cause she's such a rule follower. She's like,
Yeah.
let's just have, I'll go Kev's kids, I'll go Jake's kids. Let's bring them all over to the house every Friday, and you guys can all go out and do your thing for a couple hours and come
Hey,
back.
let's go.
And I'm like, Aubrey, that's a great idea. What are you going to charge? And she's like, I don't know, $20 an hour per kid. And I'm like, good luck. Let's see if they'll work. Make
We'll
your
pay her
money.
good.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
But
pay
I
her
mean,
that kind of money, but yeah.
that would be great. I mean, but it is going back to kind of like a scary society. I feel like it's America that's kind of we're in a different class than others. And I know that it's different here because we're so big and there's just a lot of people here from a lot of different cultures. So there's definitely lots of crime. There's lots of, you know, bigger cities. There's a lot of cities, but like think about like there's like Scandinavian, like in Norway, Denmark and stuff, you'll see in the winter, you can go into if you were just there in the winter and you went into a shop, you might be walking by a shop and you might see like 15 strollers just sitting out it outside of the shop, and 15 babies are in them. And while the parents are inside shopping, and that's just their culture, that they're so safe that they can leave their babies out there and not worry about any type of repercussions. And, you know, they're taught that it's actually healthy for those babies to be out in the cold because it helps build their immune system. So that's part of the reason why they do it. But it's safe. But could you imagine doing something like that here in America? Just, you know,
No,
leaving your
because
baby out?
America isn't safe. It's not safe.
Yeah.
No.
And that kind of takes us back to that video. You know, maybe that's something that we should be instilling in children at an early age is being polite, treating others, the golden rule, treating others the way you want to be treated.
You know what I think it is, Jake? I think at the base level, parents still whip their kids' ass in Japan and they don't in America.
Yeah,
And get out their asses whipped.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
don't beat my kids' ass and they deserve it. So I'm part of the
And that's what I'm
problem.
saying.
But
We're the kind of the last of our generation where we were, and I want to instill that in my daughter. I'm not saying I'm gonna whoop her butt, but I at least in my mind tell myself I'm gonna discipline her whenever she needs to be disciplined. And then I
Yes.
did have one more. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying it's so much harder with a little girl than a little boy, too.
Oh,
Good
absolutely.
luck.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I know. I
Good
know.
luck.
But I don't want her to be raised so dang spoiled. She's like really fierce and independent. We just let her go. We don't hover over her. She gets hurt and you never know. She'll have a bruise on her, and we'll be like, "Where'd she get that?" She never cried. It's because we're really trying not to like when she falls, like we don't like, "Are you okay?" We don't coddle her. We don't come running over to her. We let her do her own thing, and because of that, I feel like she's very independent and fierce. But I did want to ask one more question. So pertaining to these videos that we watched on the Japanese and Chinese culture of their youth, do you think there could be some kind of agenda behind, specifically probably more the Chinese video or the video from the Chinese culture? Do you think there could be some kind of agenda behind like raising these kids like that to create like super soldiers or super athletes? I mean, you see like I've seen videos where they'll come into these elementary schools and they'll measure them up and run them through all these tests and they'll be like, "Oh, these are our power lifters. Oh, these are our gymnasts." Do you think that is something we should be doing, or do you think that that's something that they're doing?
I
I mean, I
mean,
know they are doing that.
I don't
I
think
don't know
you
about
can.
super soldiers.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
That'd
think
be hard to
they're,
do.
yeah, I think that the school system in China just wants kids not to be shitheads.
Right. And that's
And
communism. I mean, that's a communist country. So, I mean, like, they can do
what?
what they want. I don't know if that would stand by.
No, it's too woke here to
Yeah.
work. Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I have my own opinion. I'm gonna
Political.
discuss it, but it's just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of
uh,
does open it up for more a political discussion, which we try to
yeah,
steer away from.
like it's just like, yeah, they just don't want their kids to be shits, and I didn't see anything in any of those videos we watched that is negatively or gonna give those kids any trauma. They're
Right.
just
Of
they're
course.
working hard and they're working as a team and they're building camaraderie and they're being respectful.
That's what
Yeah.
the main thing that I got from it too, Logan, is exactly what you just said, was they're building camaraderie, they're making them work as a team, they're teaching them responsibility, whether it be working out or doing errands. They
Mm-hmm.
they're building
Picking up
blocks
after
for being a good
themselves.
human. Right, right. Maybe we should
And
after that. Go ahead.
I help my kids pick up their shit every day after they play.
Oh God, you don't even know. We do the same shit here,
It's
or Jess does anyway. She freaking
yeah, I
picks
mean
up
it's
trash for our kids every day,
I can't wait to get to that point. I have to
dude.
clean
yeah
up
you
after.
can. Yeah, you can.
On that
Help
note,
me
you guys
clean
can do
up.
this shotgun.
Right. Oh, shotgun. So are we gonna do
It's time for
shotgun
another
before we get
shotgun.
in? Okay. I'm gonna go get one then. I'll be right back.
Let's get weird.
Kiss the button, Dev. I want to
Push the
hear it.
button. Oh, we
I
will
want to hear the
when
let's
it's
get
time.
weird button.
You'll hear it when it's time.
I want to hear it when I knew I'll shotgun a beer.
Okay, that's fine.
That mean my nose,
Yeah,
We
I
still
was.
got topics to discuss, but we can still hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, it was. Oh, you want to do that one?
He wanted to hear it.
Hey, pass me them bath salts, dog. I'm trying to get real weird.
Yeah, buddy.
And then he does it. And then this boy's right behind him.
That's how it's done. Quick and painless. I love it.
We can pay less. All right, so I think that, and because I think we're going to end up running over, we're just we're going to give him the next 2 topics, and he can pick one, and we'll just cover one, and then we'll go into the Spitfire questions. Sound good with you guys?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So your topics are I ain't doing my homework and the crowd strikes the world.
Let's do the latter, because the first one sounds like another discussion in a mobile case.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, yeah, the first one was actually about AI, but this one is about if you were living under a rock last Friday it was, well, I guess it was, yeah, Friday at 1 a.m. Microsoft did an update on their software, and the anti-ware that they use is CrowdStrike. And whenever they sent this update out of virus, I don't even know if it was a virus, something went tragically wrong. And because of it, all software around the world that used CrowdStrike anti-ware went down, and this brought all of the transportation, as far as airplanes, trains, to a halt. I even know it affected banks, where, it affected my work. It affected a whole bunch of different companies, anyone that used this CrowdStrike software. And Kevin, do you have a video?
I do. I think you pretty much covered, the basis of what this video shows.
Yeah.
It just talks about basically CrowdStrike, what it was and what
Yeah,
happened.
then we don't need to watch it.
Yeah. So I mean, we're all familiar with the situation and what went down. What I want to bring up, what everybody thinks is that, this was a malicious. At first, you thought it was a malicious thing, and that scared the shit out of
Right.
everybody, right?
Yep.
So I mean, luckily it wasn't that. It was just a error in the software update that they released. Somebody or a lot of people are probably being fired for this. CrowdStrike may not be no
Exactly.
longer
Somebody
after
got
all
fired.
this, but it's kind of crazy to think about, and this is kind of what I think we wanted to talk to you about, Logan. Like, it's crazy to think about something so simple like that ruining e-commerce for a day, shutting down
Right.
businesses, shutting down local businesses. My business, the company I work for, was even slightly affected by this. Who knows what other, I know that people were running to banks to grab money out, because I'm sure Jake can talk about that, just because, who knows how long this could have lasted. Luckily, they got it fixed in about 6 hours, or what? Well, it was more than that. It was probably about 12 hours.
So basically what
but
he's
yeah,
getting at is what are your thoughts on how much it affected the world digital infrastructure? Like this affected the whole world. Like, is that not just absolutely insane to you? That it brought the world down a little bit.
Yeah, so I think to answer your question, yes and no. Yes, it was insane, and could have been devastating to the world economy, and could have threw the whole world into a panic. But no, I'm not surprised, because the whole world economy is based on software, and any of these things could happen at any time. And there needs to be fail safes in place, and backup plans and backup plans to backup plans. And I think this was just a
Right.
reality check for a company as big as Microsoft to have this happen. It could happen to anybody. So
It kind of like lets you know how susceptible we are to something crazy
we'd
like
all
that.
if something bad happened, we'd all be pwned. We would all,
Right.
Yeah.
The dollar would be worth nothing in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Something that like this happened.
Right. I mean, unless you're hoarding liquid cash, or which that could probably go out the window
Even
too.
if if you do have cash, like if something happens to the world government and the American dollar takes a huge dump, and then we're back to fucking bartering and trading. So it's like
sugar, salt, and alcohol.
Yeah, man.
I mean, just think about in those
That's the currency
12 hours
if something like that happens.
in your
Right.
butt. Just
Yeah,
think
and
about that
and
though.
your
For those
beehole.
12 hours, those 12 hours it was down. Think about how much businesses lost money, right? I mean,
Yeah, I couldn't wire
in
anything. I
just that little
couldn't.
bit of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bet billions
payments
of
aren't being
dollars were
made.
lost.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
And
who's going to
yeah,
pay them back? No one.
and Kevin was even saying like, do you think there could have been conspiracy behind that? Like, I mean, I was talking to my boss and I was saying like, well, who's to say, you know, Russia didn't hack into Microsoft and set that virus,
Well, yeah, I
and,
mean,
and they get,
I don't think that was the case. At least we hope not. But if that is the case, then that's even more scary. You know, I mean,
I mean, remember the whole Sony thing that went down last year, or was that 2 years ago? I can't remember. There was a lot of leaked information that went down. I mean, it all seemed very sketch to me. And what really kind of scared me is it kind of made me more aware of the reality. If an apocalypse type situation happens, it's not going to be like zombies or whatever type of apocalypse. It would be more like something like this, or like an EMP, electromagnetic pulse that takes out all electronics and sends
Yeah.
us
It's gonna be
into
Fight
a
Club, man.
yeah. I mean, do you think that that's something that could happen now that we've seen this happen?
I mean, I don't know enough about it, but I definitely could see how the entire world could get flipped upside down in less than 24 hours if some shit really hit the fan. And it's
Yeah.
horrifying.
Well, we saw it with
I-
COVID happen. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
I mean, I think that would be the most realistic scenario, but yeah, with COVID happening, I mean, when COVID happened, my brother, he lives in Chicago. He sent me like downtown Chicago on Michigan Street videos, and it's just like a ghost town. There's nobody. There was absolutely zero people. And I'm assuming it was pretty much the same way in New York. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one way of kind of controlling people. And then next thing martial law comes in. I mean, you could go down the rabbit hole with this, but it is scary to think that something like that could really impact the whole world like that. Bill Gates needs to step his game up, is basically what we're trying to say.
come on, Elon, let's have it.
Yeah, Elon. Let's go.
And I think
All
that
right,
was good.
I think that was good. We went off on tangents, but I think that we covered enough. And I think with that, we could probably just end our hot topics and hot takes segment, and we can just go right into our most second featured segment, which is one of our favorites because we like to throw some random questions at our friend here, Logan. And with that, Kevin, hit us up.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird.
Hey, pass me them bath salts, dog. I'm trying to get real weird.
Again, our favorite part is the very end. That's Mr. Josh Kern. Yeah, so this segment we will ask you some random questions. They are spitfire questions. And we're just going to ask you some random stuff, and we'll hopefully get some good answers from you. I'm going to pull this up here real quick. So our first question, I have to ask you, if you could switch lives with a cartoon character for a day, who would it be? Take a second to think. I know.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't
It's a
it?
good one. And I can tell you mine if you want me to tell you mine while you're thinking.
Go ahead.
So yeah, right off the bat, I mean, this is the person that I thought of. I would definitely switch places with Roger Rabbit because Jessica Rabbit is
Bro,
just,
I was thinking in my mind the same thing. Not that necessarily.
she's spot
but
on.
Yeah.
She's spot on.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking,
you know,
who's got the hottest sidekick?
if I don't know if I brought this up in an earlier podcast, but if this kind of makes it kind of weird, but if anybody was listening to early podcasts and I said this, I can't remember if I did or not, but I did name my sister, my youngest sister Jessica, after Jessica Rabbit because I had such a big crush on her. Yeah, I was, whenever I was young, Roger Rabbit was a big thing, and I love Jessica Rabbit, and I was like 5 years old, and my parents were trying to name my sister something different. I don't even know what it was, and I was just like, no, she's Jessica. So they just stuck with Jessica. But yeah, Jessica Rabbit for sure. I mean, goodness gracious. And have you ever paused the scene where she falls out of the car and you're supposed to see the bearded clam? The bearded clam. I paused it so many times I could never catch it just right, but apparently you can. So yeah, anyways, that's my answer. Jessica Rabbit.
Let me what you got, bro.
Yeah, what you got, man?
So I like still watch cartoons every
You go
day.
anime. There's some hot ass anime girls. The
Oh,
Sailor
yeah,
girl,
bro.
Sailor Moon, is that what her name is?
Yeah, them chicks were nice though. Don't be worried about it.
Hmm.
So if they, yeah, okay. So if we're gonna go that route, I would be Vegeta from Dragon Ball because he's like a super badass and he's Sinanshus Bonga, who's like the hottest anime chick of all time.
Is he the guy that's like, and then like the fireball comes?
He's like power level 9,000. So yeah, pretty
Man,
much.
I need to watch my anime. I'm slacking on my anime.
I think
Dude,
I'm
I
just
work
going with
from-
Mikey. Mikey from Ninja Turtles, man. I've always been a Ninja Turtles dude, and he's just
Okay,
a
yeah,
cool
that's
dude.
a
Dude,
good
that's a-
one. You
that's
give
a
me,
clutch
yeah, that's a
answer.
good answer, man.
I mean, April
Mikey,
O'Neil is
I'd be
always pretty good
Raphael.
looking too.
Raphael is the best. Raphael's cool but rude, but
Yeah, dude,
Mikey's
April
pretty
O'Neil's
good.
dad,
He's
but
just happy.
Mikey never got the name.
April O'Neil was in. Yeah.
No, not that you know of.
I think Raph did.
No, he didn't. April O'Neil
I
and
think
them
he
nasty ass
did,
turtles.
and they
did.
never talked
No,
about
She
it
was after
again.
the
I think
brains, dude. She was after Donnie for sure.
Brains was Leonardo. Or no, yeah,
Leo,
Donnie. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Donatello
Bro.
was.
you guys are doing her a disservice. She never would let a giant Ninja Turtle smash. You guys are nuts.
But Raph used to hit
You
on
ever
her
seen a turtle
hardcore.
dick
I think.
before?
Yeah, they're
But they're
badass. And
nasty.
have you ever seen them? Have you ever seen that the turtles orgasm? They're like, we should pull one of those up.
I think we're good.
They held us all like an hour.
That's why she wanted it. She said, "Hey, Raph, let's go." All right, second Spitfire question. Let's go. We got, what's the funniest prank you've pulled on someone or had pulled on you?
I don't know. Do you guys have an answer? You go first. I'll think about it.
Oh man,
I can think of a couple, but one that I really like a lot, Jake and I both were a part of, and you guys obviously remember the icing challenges that we do to our friends, and we'd ice them. My favorite one was what we did to John. We put ice and saran wrap in the top part of your toilet. So, and then so what else? No, okay, sorry.
Then
we started with it being in the toilet bowl. So he opens up the toilet bowl to take a pee. He has to get an ice there. And then to make it even worse, we unhooked the top part of the toilet. So whenever he did finally drink his ice and he went to the bathroom like he was supposed to, and he tries to flush the toilet wouldn't flush. So he'd have to open the top part. And guess what? There's another ice right inside there. That was one of my favorites.
He said,
that was one of my favorites.
Remember he came out, he goes, "I'm too scared to open the tank at the toilet because there might be another ice in there." And he was completely correct. He knew it.
Yeah. That's pretty smart for him to think that, honestly, because that was a good prank in my mind.
Man, I mean, I've pulled so many, honestly. I can't think. I mean, me and my boy Kern, you know, we've done so many. We've made so many people upset. We've made prank phone calls that are crazy.
Yeah.
We've
those were always fun.
When he used to live with Adam's wife, Paige, and Jenna Cox.
Oh, yeah.
And Brittany, we used to tie their door handles together and we knock on both their doors at like 3 a.m. They'd try to open it and they couldn't open it because they'd both be trying to open their doors. We put saran wrap on the doorway and had Brittany run through it in her face. I mean, we've just done so much stuff. I honestly, I couldn't pick a favorite one. One time we did trick Mike into thinking that we had a puppy, and he came out to our car, and we had a car full of water balloons, and we just destroyed him with water balloons. But that's probably not one of my favorites. It's just that's one I'm gonna remember.
There's more that come to mind after I say the one I did, but that's still probably one of my
there's so
favorites.
many of them. I mean, the prank
Yeah,
phone
yeah.
calls.
The
You
prank phone calls, we
can't.
still have a lot of those.
Oh yeah, and
So-
and maybe
so I'm-
one day for an interlude, we'll play one of those.
Yeah, hell yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Logan? You come up with one yet?
Well, yeah. So I got a prank, and then I got a story. So there's so many pranks, but the one that I can remember the most vividly is when we all snuck out. It was me, Kev, and maybe Chuck, and we went to John's parents' house. So we put like
Oh yeah, Jake was there. Jake was with us.
5,000 post-it notes in different
Oh, yeah.
colors on his car. And he
Yeah.
couldn't even drive his car because he has so many post-it notes.
Yeah,
But then,
he was so pissed.
he was pissed. But the most
I think the funniest.
pissed,
I think the fun.
like,
Were you done telling that, Logan? I'm sorry. Were you
Yes.
done telling that?
I forgot about that.
So I think the funnier part to end that was that the next day he didn't have to drive his car to work.
Yeah.
His girlfriend did, and she's
Yeah.
driving down the
Pissed
street,
off.
pissed off, having those freaking fly off all over the
Yep.
place.
Yep. and yeah, we coordinated the post-its. We had like different colors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Someone
it was
put
awesome.
like the Third Reich sign on the back. It was bad.
Yeah.
And it was
She
horrible.
poor girl.
Oh my god.
I'll say one more just because I think it's funny. Is this is another good one. This is one that kind of went badly. So I went to one of the grocery store. You know how they always have like the toy section in like grocery stores. They're always like cheap toys. Well, they had a cap gun, and it was like a revolver cap gun. So I bought it. And at that time, my sister, who is dating one of our best friends, Josh Kern, my sister Devin, they were living on Division here in town, and it's not a bad part of town, but it's not the greatest. And at that time, there was a couple shootings, and I guess I probably wasn't even thinking about that. But anyways, I got this cap gun, and I went over to their house, tapped on their windows, tapped on their back door, and nobody comes to the door, and I could see them looking through the windows and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, Josh comes out. And he comes out with a knife in his hand, which I didn't see.
Oh shit!
And I shoot this cap gun, boom, 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 at him, and he freaks out and he comes charging at me with this knife. And I take off running because I realize he's got a knife. And I'm like,
Oh,
it's a
shit.
joke, it's a prank. And he's like, oh. And he's like, F you, you effing a-hole, F you, you effing a-hole. He was like so mad that I did this because
Well,
of
yeah.
all that they were of the shootings and stuff that they're just going on. And he's like, F you, a-hole. And then he turns around and he looks at me and goes, at least tell me you got that on video. And I go, yeah, I did. And he goes, okay, cool. That's all I cared about. Once he knew I had it on video, it was all good. But yeah,
What was your story you wanted to tell, Logan?
Yeah, so I don't know if it was a prank, but it was definitely the most pissed off any of my friends have been at me for something stupid. So, freshman year of college, Drew and I were roommates. And we had both of our beds lofted above our desks for our homework. And they were so high in the fucking dorm room that if you were to roll over and I'd move your hand like this, you scrape all of the skin off your hand. So, like, you were less than 2 feet from the ceiling. So if you woke up for the night here, you got a concussion. It was horrible. But Drew had a sister. It was enough years older than us that by the time we were freshmen in college, she was like past being an adult and poor and had already moved into figuring her life out with a spouse.
yeah.
So we inherited like the most magnetic futon of all futons because check out somebody wore like a $2,000 futon in 2006, and she's like, "I'm getting married. I don't need a futon anymore. I need a real couch because I'm an adult." And we were like, "Fuck yes, we'll take that futon." So this thing had like the mattress on it was so much better than our bunk beds, and it wasn't 15 feet in the air. That we party freaking 5 days a week. So every night we would come home, and it was like a sprint. Whoever got to the futon first had to sleep on it, and the other person had to sleep in the loft of
Right.
it. Well, by the second semester, their rule was out the window, and we just slept butt to butt every fucking night. Drew and I shared the same cover for a whole year. And my grandma, God love her, would send me a box of fucking treats like every couple months. I get a care package, and it had snacky cakes and chips, like all the Mac Daddy top tier treats you get in your lunchbox. Grandma would just send me like a fucking month supply of it, and one of those things was snack packs. So we had the little plates, and I used to shove all of our treats under the futon. And one night, second semester freshman year, it's like creeping on finals week. It's like the last big test before finals. So everybody's stress levels like up to here. Drew's already a fucking ginger mess, so he's always mad the whole fucking time. And we go out on the night before, we party way too hard. I'm having depression. Drew's got a test at like 7 in the fucking morning. So he wakes up, it's probably 8 o'clock class, so he wakes up at like 7, rolls over out of bed, puts his 2 feet down, and he smashes 2 fucking snack packs full of tapioca pudding. And they went through each one of his little fucking toes. And he got so mad, he turned around and thank God I was asleep, or he would have blacked both my eyes because he wanted to fucking hit me so bad. But it wasn't funny. But I got tapioca pudding all up in Drew's feet, and it's the maddest I think he's ever been to anybody in his whole life.
I know he. It
Nice.
takes a lot for him to get mad. I've
I
never
wouldn't
seen
say
him.
that.
He just
Yeah, well-
but when he does get mad, he just let the guys out of rage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that was 20 years ago down here, and he has not let me live that up at all.
That's good.
That is good.
We got one more hot fire for you, bud.
I don't think I do, bro. We could do marry, fuck, kill,
Yeah, that'd be a fun one.
Yeah, I heard you that.
but we gotta think of some really horrible things for you. Marry, fuck, kill. Neil deGrasse Tyson, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump. Marry, F, kill, go.
What the hell, man? Here are my options again.
Neil
Elon,
deGrasse Tyson,
Dyson,
And
and Donald
Trump.
Trump.
and Chomsky,
Yeah.
Tonver.
I mean, I don't know if you can say kill
Elon
Trump.
Musk.
That'd
Okay.
be bad.
Okay, so Neil deGrasse Tyson is super smart, super duper smart, and he seems like he's captivating when he talks. He's charismatic.
He's
So
awesome.
at least we had a good conversation. So I'm
Oh, yeah,
marrying
he's
that
great.
motherfucker.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm talking Donald Trump because he's a president, and that's enough for my belt.
And you can't.
And then
Yeah,
Elon's got to go, dog. I mean,
Elon's.
I'm pro Elon for sure, but when you put those three together, and somebody's had to go. I'm talking to the president. What's this target? Let's see
Yeah.
what. Yeah, he's a billionaire.
And
but
with everything that's been going on, you can't really kill him. Can't kill Trump.
I mean, you could.
I mean, you
but
could, but
he's the president.
he's already. I mean,
You're right. You can't give that motherfucker.
I think you answered the best that you of your ability and our ability. I appreciate that. I think that I would go the same route. As much as I love Elon, he's a little weird, so
I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Look, I think in all of you guys' interviews for all of your podcasts, you should do an area 5 kill because you can really get to the nitty gritty of somebody's psyche
yeah, I
very,
love
Yeah.
it too.
very quickly with
We can
this
end
question.
it with that every time, come up with 2 other
Yeah.
questions, and then do a Mary F. kill at
Yeah.
the end.
Area
Yeah,
5
I
kill.
like it. I like that too.
I like it.
Because yeah, the one that we'll edit out probably was a little too untasteful, but we're pretty good at coming up with them, aren't we? I mean, that was pretty.
Well,
that was
Jake
on the
is.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was G-Money, dude.
This is
Yeah.
stuff Jake thinks about all day long. Who am I going to
I
marry?
know,
Who am I going
right?
to fuck? Who am I going to kill?
My sick mind. This is
Yeah.
why in the last episode I said I would rather have somebody look at my my Google history instead of my thoughts, because my thoughts are pretty out. Did you see that, Logan? What would you
yeah.
do? Would you rather have somebody read your thoughts or read your Gmail history? I mean, I know that we're all probably Googling the same nasty stuff, so F it. We're all dirty. People look at me dirty. And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, whatever. You're doing the
We're all
same
dirty
thing.
dogs.
Yeah.
I think that it depends on what year of my life you're looking at my
Yeah,
history
right.
versus my brain. And right now in my life, over this past 30, 40 years in particular, I mean, since COVID, my baby was born in
Yeah.
balls got in 2020.
Yeah.
And it's like
It's pretty clear.
yeah, it's like I don't have the mental capacity to do the fucked up shit right now
Same.
because I'm just to survive.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it day to day as a parent and raise 2 kids that aren't shitbirds and not lose my fucking mind. And
I agree.
It's been hard, man.
That's why I said the worst stuff up front.
Yeah.
We could.
No, if you were to look at my search history at like 19 through 28, fuck that.
Or like your AOL chat history.
No,
Yeah.
forget it.
Yeah.
You also got to think too, man. Like, there's more. You're like this day and age. You're pretty like knowledgeable about what's out there, and you're also knowing that everybody can see what you're doing at all times. So you're probably not searching certain things that come to your mind because like oh, who's gonna be watching me?
I don't care.
I don't always.
I don't care what Google thinks of me. I'm never gonna be like a serial killer or kill someone. At least
Yeah.
Like that's my plans. So I don't care about that.
But you got to think there's certain searches out there that get flagged, though, right? So that gives them a reason to look at you.
Yeah, look at me all you want.
What are they gonna find?
Still my identity, still my credit. Take my debt.
Shit,
I
yeah.
don't care about that. But anyways, I think
No,
we
man,
had
I think we had
a great episode. I mean, we
I
talked
appreciate
about a
it,
lot.
Logan.
Yeah, it was awesome, Logan, and we love you, dude.
Yeah, man, it's fun. You guys are gonna put a bunch of shit out, I think.
Yeah, we
it's all
will.
good.
Yeah, we will. You gave me.
We're gonna get you canceled first, though.
Yeah, we did good, man.
Dude, I do actually have one more question for you, though, Logan. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. I remember. I forgot about this.
Okay. So when you were in, and then
Are we cracking these on? Let's crack these on film. Ready?
and I will sit here and not do that.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
It's Jake and Kevin. We realized we actually left y'all hanging and we didn't ask our contestant question of the episode. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. The question is, in the previous episode with Ryan here, what was the unique thing that Ryan ate that we discussed during the beginning of the episode? So if you know that answer, go ahead and comment in our comment section or email us at 2broswithbenefits@gmail.com and let us know, and we will pick out a random winner, and we'll have some nice swag to give you. Look, we got hats. All right, guys, we'll see you later.
Oh,
Bye.
shit.